Well, everyone, Parker, welcome to Two Dudes, One Car.
Thank you, sir. Happy to be here.
Our car podcast where we talk about pretty much anything and also some cars. That's what we say. Today, I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to the guys, but I want to talk to you, dude. I saw that you were driving a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
You know that I'm itching to get a Cybertruck. I am the only idiot with a Cybertruck tattoo that doesn't have a Cybertruck.
I feel bad. I keep getting these Cybertruck review opportunities. You've never even seen one in person.
Never.
And you've got a tattoo.
And I have a Cybertruck tattoo. It's the most pathetic thing ever.
But I mean, later on, you got an announcement, so this could be.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I want to know everything about the Cybertruck, dude.
Yeah.
What it's like? What was it like the first time you saw it? Because you just drove it. You had it on your channel.
Yeah.
You already did the 5 things I hate about the Cybertruck, which I also want to know about the 5 things I hate about the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
This is coming out after
Yeah.
your video. So let's start with number 1. What was the dream from not knowing it to having it in front of you and actually driving it? What was the expectation and what was the reality? I want to know.
It's hard to, in pictures, it's hard to tell what it's like, you know?
Impossible.
And a lot of people are like, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It's an abomination or whatever. And you see that thing in person and the presence is unbelievable. Like reviewing it, I filmed 2 videos on Cybertrucks and filming it is a feature film in itself because every minute and a half, somebody pulls over or multiple people pull over and they just forget how to be a human being. I mean, this one lady came and she's like, "Can I take a selfie?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, of course." And then she just hops in the driver's seat of the Cybertruck and then more people pull over and everyone's looking at, "Oh my God, is that the Cybertruck?" And it was basically like having 10 Bugattis next to each other.
Can I tell you something?
In terms of attention.
You know the Apple Vision Pro?
Yeah.
The goggles for Apple, whatever. Which, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg, have you seen the video of Mark Zuckerberg shitting on the Vision
He's like,
Pros?
I pretty much think that the Quest is just better.
The Quest Meta 3 is way better. And honestly,
it's lighter.
This is what's going on. By the way, Mark Zuckerberg's been taking classes on how to be a human.
Is he a human or is he not? Because I don't know.
He's been taking classes on how to be a human. If you watch and this is a fad that I love.
Yeah.
Love. So Elon Musk kind of opened the door for billionaires to be in podcasts.
Yeah.
Right? Do you
I
agree?
100%.
Okay. So then it was like Jeff Bezos showed up in a podcast. Mark
I haven't seen that.
Zuckerberg.
Jeff
Are you
Bezos
kidding
on a
me
podcast?
with Lex Friedman?
Oh,
It's
okay. I'll check it out.
incredible. A really good
Yeah.
conversation. You should watch it.
100%.
And then Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Well, I can't be the awkward guy that's in the club, so I should probably be in a podcast." And the thing about Mark Zuckerberg, he's always been so awkward and non-human.
Yeah.
Non-human is the number one way of
No, he
describing
really
Mark
seems
Zuckerberg.
like a lizard with the aspiration to be a UFC
No
champion.
doubt. No fucking doubt.
Yeah.
But ever since I started watching him appear on the Lex podcast, he started to get better at being a human.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of mine in Spain, Willie, and I was like, "Dude, Willie, this motherfucker is taking lessons on how to behave like a human." And Willie's like, "No, he's not." I was like, "Watch the evolution
I wouldn't
from
even
one
be
to
surprised.
another."
I wouldn't even be surprised.
And he goes, "I kind of believe you now."
Yeah.
Every one of my friends knows that I'm a crazy person and I'm a conspiracy guy. But I legitimately think Mark Zuckerberg's been taking classes on how to be better of a presenter because now he's understanding that even billionaires have to compete for each other's meals.
I think it'd be just as surprising to find out that he's a lizard as that he's a normal person.
It's the same. Yeah.
Because there has been some videos where you're like, that is just not what a person does.
No human would ever do that.
Yeah.
He's very strange. And whatever. So the Vision Pros from Apple came out, and this is what I wanted to get at. The Vision Pro from Apple, along with the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
This is why I'm adding the Cybertruck into
Sure.
it. Are part of a new fad, new trend that's hitting planet Earth right now, which is like the fast, quick, I want a video that has a lot of views and I want people to look at it and I'm going to make my whole identity about this thing. So you see people in the subway in New York City wearing their Apple Vision Pros. You see people everywhere in the Cybertruck. Like, you got a Cybertruck even though you're a Tesla employee. Now you're like, Cybertruck Ted. And Cybertruck Ted, he's like, I'm having a meal with my Cybertruck, and he's just like showing people how to cook meals next to his Cybertruck. Like everything is about the Cybertruck.
It's like shock factor videos in the form of expensive technology now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the fucking oddest thing in the world. And through our time in cars, it used to be like people bought cars, you built a garage, and people liked you. But now it's like, I need to know that this motherfucker's going to get the Apple Vision Pro. Then he's going to get the Cybertruck and drive the Cybertruck wearing the Apple Vision Pro so that I can give him a like and get the views. So I feel like everyone in their head has that right now. In the Apple Vision Pros, there's a lot of people returning them. They already got the videos in. They already went out in public. They already got filmed. They already got everything that they needed. They got their views, and now they're left-handed.
I thought about doing that. I'm not going to lie. I was watching a bunch of videos, and my friends were like, why don't you just get that and do some content and then send it back? And I didn't have a good answer for why I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't want to be a piece of shit, but it's like...
By the way, I don't think that makes you a piece of shit. I think the people doing that are just like, I think it's just funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge people based on whatever the fuck
I
they're
think
doing.
I've decided on the Vision Pro that it's obviously the worst of that piece of tech that it's ever going to be. So I'm just going to wait until it gets better.
Well,
are you buying one? I'm not buying one.
So no one is obsessed with this as much as I am. And I've been obsessed with the metaverse and NFTs and all that shit before. And then it really was clear to me that whether we like it or not, we're going to live in a virtual world of some sort, or a lot of people will. Hopefully, I'll make enough money to never live in that fucking virtual world.
Yeah, hopefully, like everyone's in a virtual world, and then the people watching and us, we're in real world.
That's right.
And then we can, we can excel.
This is one of the things that creeped me out about what Jeff Bezos was saying, because Jeff Bezos in the podcast with Lex was talking about how Earth was so gorgeous and so beautiful and such a rare thing that we should take care of it, and that soon humans are going to be living outside of Earth, and you're going to go to Earth only for vacations, like when you go to
how soon are they talking? I mean, that's got to be 50, 100 plus years
forget
out.
About soon or not.
Yeah.
The terrifying thing about what he's saying is that he wants to get rid of poor people and only give access to poor people to Earth once a year on a vacation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I want you to watch that.
Although that's actually the opposite of what I thought. I thought maybe that the richest people are going to dip Earth to go to the moon and Mars. But now what you're saying makes more sense. So they can have their idyllic civilization on a planet with no rules, do whatever they want. But Earth is definitely a better habitat. So that if they could shift everyone to go to the shittier planets and then have the billionaires be on Earth, I think that's
what they're going for.
That's why they're making rocket ships. They're trying to send us. I mean, if I got an opportunity to go on a rocket ship to the moon, I probably would do it.
Yeah.
Little do I know, they're just trying to get our dumbasses off of
Earth.
Earth.
It's like Parker. There's absolutely nothing on the moon.
Yeah, there really is. It would be horrendous.
What are you going to go to Mars for?
It would be cool for 5 seconds. You land on the moon, you're like, wow, I went to space, I'm on the moon, and then you're like,
okay,
I am in the Sahara Desert, but worse.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and there's no resources. You're not meant to live there, like all this shit. But
I can jump really high because of gravity, so that's cool.
That you can. That is pretty cool. But unless you fucking get lost past the atmosphere,
that would be brutal.
Then you would die in space. But these guys are looking at like space and Earth. Earth is kind of like a national park.
Yeah,
something that we
the
gotta
ultimate
take
national
care of,
park.
that we want to bring people in when they're going on a vacation and explore it. We're going to take care of it, but everyone's going to live in bubbles like the Jetsons. That's what Jeff Bezos is saying, not me.
He literally said that?
Watch the fucking podcast.
Okay, I got to watch that. That's crazy.
And then you tell me. He's saying it in a nice way, though, because he's romanticizing
because he's going to make it happen.
Because he's saying, Earth is so beautiful and blah, 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 and we got to take care of it, and it's so rare, and there's no other planet that we can get to. And it sounds great, but if you really pay attention to what he's saying, he's like, you need to get out. So either way, with the Apple Vision Pro, everyone can live in a different world, in a different reality without like going out there and doing all these things. But what it does, it creates a lot of likes for people. It does give them a lot of views and all this shit. So now I feel like there's a new fashion. And that new fashion is the overnight likes. Like I need this, no matter what it is, I'll buy it and then return it. So I can't even wait to see what Apple's numbers are going to look like with all the returns of the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking. This is what everyone's going to do. But like I said, a friend of mine and myself, we're obsessed with the whole metaverse thing. We are, because we understand the at least we think we understand the value of virtual spaces when used properly, not in a...
How do you think all the people who bought like plots of land and homes in the metaverse are
They're
doing
fucked
right now?
I have a plot, like, don't we have a plot of land, Sergio, in the metaverse?
No way. Yeah,
Beautiful.
some guy spent millions to
No.
live next to Snoop Dogg in the metaverse.
But we're not retarded.
And that
We're
was
not retarded.
was that guy's
We're not,
Salomondrin?
we're not retarded. We're not retarded. I rented when we built our...
You were renting space in the metaverse?
So, okay. So instead of buying it for 20, 30, 50 grand last year, we spent $1,600 for a whole year. And we built this building where all of our users would come in. They could watch like premium videos all the way on the top and regular videos at the bottom. It was fun. I understand the value of it, but also the central end is a piece of shit. Garbage. Absolute garbage. No power processing.
And there was too
slow.
many different spaces for the metaverse. I feel like it was all... there wasn't one metaverse with one set of land. And like Earth, there's only so much land. So
They're all
there's inherent
competing for it.
value.
Yes.
You can just create another universe
Yes.
and then have 1 billion acres there.
Yes, and it's a nightmare. So either way, but we saw the benefits of it, and we were obsessed with like immersive VR and AR, like goggles. And then at some point we realized, dude, the best thing anyone do is like use real AR, augmented reality, for anyone that's watching that doesn't understand. You use augmented reality on your daily life. Because, for example, you get in a Mercedes, and let's pretend that the windshield had augmented reality. And you go, show me how to get home. And the navigation can be on your windshield without you having to look at the screen or anywhere else.
They have that.
Where you know, well, you have like the little prompt up front with...
Well, Mercedes has, with the advanced heads-up display, these little
Advanced heads-up
arrows
display,
that show you through the windshield where to turn.
Yes.
So it's not just like a little arrow that says make a right turn. The arrows kind of guide you,
And it
which
shows
is, I
you.
think that's the entry level of augmented reality.
That's a basic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So imagine that on your whole whole windshield, and based on parts, like the co-pilot can probably see all the restaurants and all the stuff that is here, and like maybe add a social component to it. And
Or
for-
a big screen. They could watch a movie through the screen.
That too.
I think, yeah, that augmented reality element of cars, which doesn't really exist yet, minus the navigation, is like a whole new universe for creating a cool car experience. It's not just the interior and the exterior. Now it's like, what does the operating system of looking through the windshield look like, and the features? It could be pretty cool.
That's and by the way, that's where it's
it's
going to
coming.
go.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. We're not inventing anything crazy.
Yeah.
So while we're doing all this research and we're completely in love with this, we're like, we started playing with the idea. Should we try to figure out how to buy a company that creates this AR technology and glasses and see? So we started looking everywhere in the world. And once we topped with China shit, because China has a company called Xiaomi. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like XAOMI or some shit like that. They make cars, they make headsets, they make everything. And these guys have glasses, straight up glasses, like regular glasses that can do everything that the Vision Pro can do. And this was a year ago.
Really?
A year ago.
Wow.
It's just we don't know shit about China.
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
think
yeah.
they're idiots and all of their shit is cheap.
I don't know.
And ours is better.
I didn't think that. That's why I'm unsurprised that they have a Vision Pro that looks like glasses already. I feel like they're far ahead of us in certain tech.
They are.
Yeah.
They're just selling us like on the we are still, but whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But their shit is incredible. So when I saw the Apple Vision Pro, which at first I was really excited about, I said, I want to see really what it would be like using it, because it's so heavy. Sergio and I made some AR, VR, immersive videos for Google.
Yeah. I did that too.
Yeah. And
Great campaign.
Great campaign.
Excellent.
Great campaign. We actually were nominated for the top video
Hey!
of the year.
Wow.
In that category. So we We know what we're
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So we know what we're talking about.
Got
right?
zero accolades like that.
well-
So I didn't even know that was a possibility.
But that's because of Sergio, by the way.
Yeah, they don't tell you about the list when you don't make a good video.
If it was me, I wouldn't have made it. But because of Sergio, we made it to the top of
Heck
the list
yeah.
and whatnot. So we're very familiar with the technology. And we realize that there's a massive, mega gigantic lack of people wanting to participate. And it's because of those things. I have like the Oculus from Meta, which obviously don't compare to the new ones. But dude, you wear it 2-3 times and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
The Vision Pro's best case for me was the example of someone using the bathroom like Rick and Morty, like taking a shit while you're in a different world.
Oh.
And then having a screen in front of you. I was like, all right, babe, I
No,
need to
that's
buy
not
these.
bad because I enjoy my bathroom time.
Me too. Can
You
I
know?
tell you something that I found out yesterday in another podcast?
Please.
You'll get hemorrhoids if you stay a long time sitting in a toilet.
I mean, long term, then I'm.
Me too. But that's why I'm changing
not-
my habits, son.
I'm
I'm changing
hosed.
my habits, and I'm not buying the Vision Pro for that reason.
Yeah, it's a safe space, and it only gets crazier if you can be in Yosemite looking at Half Dome while you're on the Golden Throne.
I would stay there all day. and also
100%.
I get stoned.
Hey, sorry,
and-
man, I can't make it to the podcast. I'm in Yosemite.
I'm very
on my
busy.
toilet.
It's so gorgeous. Either way, I think that technology is just it's not right. It's not there. But the Cybertruck can be part of that. But at the same time, no one can sell a Cybertruck.
What do you mean no one can sell a Cybertruck?
You can't sell if you bought a Cybertruck right now. There's a
yeah. There's
piece
the
of
1
paper
year.
that says, dude, if
Yeah.
you sell it before a year goes by, we're gonna sue the shit out of you.
It's interesting to see all the people trying to circumvent it with different, let's do a 1 year lease to buy contract. And I'm curious whether Tesla's going to destroy those people or not.
No, because semantics are everything in legal work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like will get rich will tell you there's plenty of loopholes for you to get rich.
100
And this is one of them. Like for anyone buying a Cybertruck that can't sell it, you should have just put it under the company's name and sold the company.
Of course.
That's what they don't understand. But I want to know, is this number one? The first question is this fast fashion, kind of like the Vision Pro, or is this something that's here to stay and that people will enjoy as time goes on with the Cybertruck?
So I
based
think
on your experience,
looks wise, I think it's kind of a fast fashion thing. To a degree, it's so polarizing that certainly when there aren't that many on the road, like there are currently, people freak out and don't know how to act. The counter argument to that is there's going to be millions of them.
Millions.
You see so many, like the Plaid obviously doesn't look like the Cybertruck, but at one point in time it was cool and you didn't see them. And then now all of a sudden everyone has one. It's not cool. It's normal.
Yeah.
So yes, the Cybertruck is never going to look normal because it looks ridiculous. But when people see 10 a day, are they going to care? Maybe not. But the good news is it's actually a good vehicle. Like it's not just the way it looks on the outside. I think the steer-by-wire is insane. It feels...
How was that?
It feels more nimble than a sports car. Like you don't have the feedback where you feel the bumps and whatnot, but the change of direction is insane.
Really?
Like you get in that thing and you turn it the teeniest amount and the thing is just ready to turn, which is something you're not used to. And the rear axle steering, you think that the Rivian's easy to drive and maneuver? This is like 10 times that.
So it's like Verstappen would love driving this car. He loves a pointy car.
It really is kind of a darty thing, but it's huge.
How does it handle?
Well, it doesn't. It's comfortable, and it doesn't have any body roll. I drove it pretty hard in Angeles Crest, which is not a road for a truck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any body roll. It just kind of corners
Because you have
flat.
the rear wheel steering, right?
Yeah.
How's the suspension?
Nice. Yeah. Feels like a bigger Model X kind of. It's comfortable.
Ooh. Which, by the way, not a lot of people understand this, but suspensions in Tesla is really good.
Yeah,
and very
100%.
comfortable.
100%. And the X feels like a little bit more solid and higher quality in a way than the S.
Yeah.
It just feels a little bit more
like a
removed.
level above.
Yeah. And then the Cybertruck is like maybe a level above that.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never expected
I mean, it's got more suspension travel. The difference that I wasn't expecting is that you hear a lot of electric motor noise.
That's what I wanted to ask you next.
And
okay.
I think it's sick. I think that's something that's missing from electric cars is why not play into what it is instead of ignoring the fact that it's electric, trying to make it completely silent and taking the powertrain out of the situation. Yeah. You hear the acceleration and deceleration from the motors, and I think it sounds dope.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the interior build quality?
Interior is fine. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. The seats, I think they could do more with the seats.
Yeah.
The design is like a very simple, but the cockpit and the driving experience feels more special than any other Tesla.
And the steering wheel?
It's cool. Yeah. It's smaller than you would think, but it's not a yoke. It takes zero getting used to, and I think it's cooler design-wise than having it be perfectly round.
Is it heavier when you want to point it somewhere, or
No.
not really? No.
If anything, it's almost lighter.
What about the brakes?
They're all right. It's a 6,600-pound.
It's kind of like the Model
Beast.
S, whether like the Plaid, where a lot of people would take it to the track and they were surprised when it didn't brake after 3 laps, like retards.
Yeah. I mean,
Kinda
look,
like that.
it's not my vehicle, so I didn't just
Went crazy.
destroy it
Yeah.
and hound on the brakes for 30 minutes straight, but it's totally fine for what you're going to do with it.
When you look at that Cybertruck compared to like a regular F-150 or a Raptor, which one would you rather get and why? Whatever your favorite pickup truck is, it could be the TRX.
I think the Raptor R is probably my favorite pickup truck.
Okay.
For a
understand.
while,
Sexy.
those were like near 200 grand with markup.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd probably pick the Cybertruck, as crazy as that is. If I had an internal combustion vehicle to drive for fun, different than the Cybertruck.
Yeah. No, we're just talking about like straight up pickup trucks, and you
Yeah.
can have whatever other garage. Just
I mean, it tows more than a Raptor R.
yeah.
It has more ground clearance than a Raptor R.
Yeah.
So it can go over bigger rocks and whatnot. The
0 to
interior
60.
is nicer. The 0 to 60 is better. It doesn't feel as aggressive and manly. It's a little bit more like a metrosexual
That's good, though.
tech nerd. Yeah, I mean it's Alejandro to a T.
You motherfucker.
But you don't feel like you're in Texas shooting guns out of it. It doesn't
Okay.
it doesn't give you that vibe with the truck. But I would take the Cyber Beast over a Raptor R. I think it's the best truck.
I think so too.
Minus if you want to do towing. So we can get into the things I hate about it. One of them, and maybe the worst thing, is the towing range. So this YouTuber, Jerry Rig Everything, did a towing test. It can tow 11,000 pounds. So they maxed it out with 11,000 pounds. And the range is 340 miles for the dual motor. But with towing, he got about 90 miles. So if you factor in that it can only go 90 miles, and you also factor in that when you need to charge it, there's not a lot of charging stations that have a pull-through for the trailer. That means you have to unhook the trailer, leave it somewhere, drive, charge the car, come back, rehook the trailer every 90 miles.
Oh, fuck.
So that part is kind of garbage.
Can I tell you something? I'm not a tower, so I'm good.
So that's the thing. I'm not really going to tow things either.
Yeah.
But for the person who wants to tow, you can get a F450 that can tow 35,000 pounds instead of 11,000, and it can go really far. If you're towing, it's not the car for you. But if you're not towing, then
okay.
yeah.
What's the next one? I want to know all the
Yeah.
things that you
So
hated
the
about it.
A-pillars are super weird. It slants down, and then it has these triangular A-pillars where it has some gnarly blind spots in the front.
Oh.
You could take out a bicyclist.
So I'll say this. Rolls-Royce kind of gave me that impression the first time I got one. Mm-hmm. Where you're driving and your mirrors are so gigantic and your pillars are so big.
Yeah.
That you're missing a considerable amount of eyesight, basically.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the same or way worse?
I wouldn't say way worse.
Okay.
It reminds me of when you drive an Aventador.
That's
can't
what I'm
see.
saying.
You can't see over the rear
Three-quarter,
and it's a little
three-quarter.
scary on the
Yeah.
freeway because of it. It's not quite as bad as that, but it's in front of you, so it's just a different vibe. You're not looking over your shoulder having it blocked. It's fine over your shoulder.
Oh, good.
But in front of you, because of this triangular A-pillars, it's a little weird.
Okay.
But
At least
not that big of a
By
deal.
the way, according to CNN, at least with that Cybertruck, you can just kill anyone that gets in front of your
What did
your way.
CNN say?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you know this. I have a few friends that enjoy watching CNN or Fox, either
Okay.
one, and they watch it all the time. And when I posted a picture of my of a Cybertruck, they were like, "Oh my God, that car is not only ugly, but it's so dangerous. Cyclists and pedestrians are gonna die left and right." I'm like, I am 99% certain that if you got ran over by a Raptor R, it would also kill you, son. Like, I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
100%.
Yeah, so,
100%.
so it's a little bit of that. Okay, so that's two. What's three?
Yeah, so apparently they're rusting.
But that's what they're. Hang on.
But I would say that's just what they're saying. But the one I reviewed, before they wrapped it, they found 2 points where it was rusting.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a
Now, it was like
legitimate-
little spots, but like the guys only had it for a month and it's rained once. So
Now, would you be concerned about that? You don't think Tesla will take care of everyone that has a roast?
maybe I'm an idiot. I don't feel like I'm concerned about it. I think it'll be fine. There's
Yeah.
no way they can just make a car that just all of a sudden the whole thing's going to be a rust bucket and falls apart.
That would look cool though. For
But
a
that's
few
the
weeks.
other thing. Maybe
Yeah.
it looks cool.
Yeah,
Maybe
It's
it looks cool.
You remember when we had like those Hot Wheels that you would throw hot water on them and
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
turn from white to pink? What if it's like that, but from like silver to like that red burgundy
Well,
roast?
Titleist makes these wedges for golf that are this raw material.
Yeah.
And they have like 4 different finishes, and one of them you can choose as raw. And over time, from the water, it rusts on purpose because the rough surface creates more spin on the ball, and it creates kind of a sick look to the club. To have this modern club with good technology that looks like it's,
Rusted.
100 years old and
Yeah.
rusted. So it could be badass, actually. But hard to say whether that's going to be a real problem or not, but it's just something I noticed. This is only on one of the Cybertrucks. The build quality seems to be semi-decent on all of them, but the one I just recently reviewed, when you shut only the driver's door, it like reverberated. Like you shut it and it went like whoop, whoop, whoop. And like it was a little like, are you kidding me?
The
What-
panel outside?
Yeah. I was like, okay, what is that? I've like opened the door of like 10 of them probably, and none of the other ones did that. So it could be
There's only one.
it could be just a one-off problem. But it was like, okay, this guy's paid 120 grand for this. What the fuck was that?
Was that a Cyber Beast or a dual motor?
I guess it was 100 grand. No, it was a dual motor. I've seen one Cyber Beast, and the guy like didn't really get out of the car, and no one knows who he was, and the rest
Why?
are.
What's up with the mystery with
Just,
the Cyber
just
Beast?
too much of a legend. Everyone around was like, I heard that's Vin 5. And we're like, what the hell? Is
Vin 5, you
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
who that is? That's
Yeah.
John
Oh,
Roswell.
yeah,
No?
literally.
He owns a bakery.
Yeah. He was the head of the Illuminati.
Well, probably.
Probably. Vin
If he got
5.
number 5,
Yeah.
you can bet your tits he is. Well, no, he would have gotten number 1 or
Yeah.
number 2 after Elon. Interesting. What's the third?
Okay.
I mean,
so
fourth.
that, yeah. Fourth. Let's see. What else did I say? That was the fourth. The fifth. Oh, so they're delivering right now without full self-driving or autopilot at all.
Yeah.
And I find that a little weird. They've had 4.5 years since we put our orders in on that car. And in that time, every other Tesla has some form of self-driving, and they deliver that thing, and it doesn't work at all. What is that?
I'm just going to jump in and say this. I hate that people are saying that, oh, it's been 4 years. The price changed so much. Dude, it was announced in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything in 2020 that happened that changed the entire dynamics of like pricing? Was there?
That's fair.
Okay. So there was inflation
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah.
So everywhere you look at, prices went up. Like when I bought my Rivian, they honored the price because I got a launch one. But afterwards, they were like, dude, we got to raise the price $10,000 on these fucking cars.
Mm-hmm.
And we all understood because all the prices on everything is going up. I think it's hard for people to realize when they've never worked or owned a business. Because if you work in a business, you work in a certain area
Sure.
and you make sure that that area is covered. But you don't understand the rest of the business for the most part. And I feel like this is one of those things where people are getting lost in, oh, what the original thing was to the final thing was, it's absolute garbage. But no, there was a mega gigantic change in the world and the dynamic of the world, right? When it comes down to it.
I totally agree, and I didn't actually think about that. I will say, though, that Elon is, and personally, I don't know if this is controversial, I think the guy's awesome. I mean, obviously he does some rogue shit, but like, he's a mega genius. He's like, feels like a kind of Albert Einstein style guy of our era. But he does say some stuff that just doesn't happen. Like, the original thing was 39 grand with 500 miles of range. And now it starts at 61 with 250 miles of range at the base entry level.
But now, this is what I find fascinating. I agree. And let's say all the bad things of Elon, that's where I'm at. That's what I do. All the bad things, because I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk. I'm only comparing myself to all the bad things of Elon Musk. Okay.
So that's an accolade of sorts.
So
You're just only the negative parts of
I'm
Elon.
only the negative parts. So I understand what it's like to want to push a whole team to be able to deliver something in whatever date.
Yeah.
And you having full faith in those people, and those people looking at you in the eye and saying, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And then those people lagging. Because the reality is, Elon can't do everything.
That's a very good point. He cannot build a whole car himself.
No, it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
So after all these years, I want to say that at least, and I don't want to get deep into this, but I know, like, for example, Matt Farah, car expert, said that it was never going to come out and it was never going to get made.
The Cybertruck?
Yeah. And there was
He hates Tesla.
Yeah, of course. And there's a lot of people that doubted it, that were like, there's no way this guy is going to be able to put this out as a regular product. And he did.
Yeah.
But then you compare it to someone like my guy Fisker. And my guy Fisker is just like bullshitting everyone after failing on everything, after stealing fucking shit from everyone. And people are like, what a hero, Mr. Fisker. Thank you for giving us this car where you promised us the moth doors and then the 650-mile range.
Are they,
and
though?
No one
Like,
will give him shit.
Have you met a guy who's like, I'm just a huge Fisker person, and I'm so stoked about it? I haven't.
So there's a dude, I'm a little ashamed of saying this because I like him, but at the same time, do you know who Patrick Bet-David is?
Yes.
Great dude, smart dude, brilliant dude, made so much money. He knows how to run shit. But at the same time, his show, and I'm talking about his show, not him, is kind of a show about anything that the mainstream talks about. They make a soap opera about. They don't go outside of the mainstream to find answers. They don't go anywhere else. And it's a shame because they're so smart, like the whole team that's there. But they just dedicate themselves to, like, within the mainstream media, let's make a soap opera.
Sure.
One of those dudes, really smart, I believe his name is Tom, the older dude with the glasses.
I don't know if I've actually seen a full show or anything. I've just seen clips and know who the guy is.
And he's the dude that, like, he knows the economy, he knows finance, and he's always giving his insights. Yet he went and bought a Fisker. Yet when he went on and he's promoting Fisker. Yet he is like, oh, man, Fisker, he's going to bring us to the Holy Land. How? How are these fucking people that are serious people falling for it after so many... And by the way,
I don't know.
You go to any major dealership, they have respect for the guy. Like, while I get that he deserves all the respect in the world for his design work, as an entrepreneur, he's garbage. Absolute garbage. And he doesn't deliver anything that he says. But no one says anything bad about him. And when you go to these dealerships where they're like on Fisker's dick, like all in, and I hope you guys are watching and not just listening to this podcast. When they do that, right? And you talk to those guys, they talk about Elon like he's an idiot. They're like, oh yeah, but Elon is the Cybertruck could come in like this and then this guy. He's like, are you fucking serious?
People like to hate on the person on top and root for the underdog, but I think Heinrich Fisker has tried quite a number of times.
Yeah, the problem is him, by the way.
If
he just stepped down and he let someone else run a company with a proper operations mindset, not be the CEO, and let another person be the CEO, and he's the design engine behind it in the name, he would kill. I would buy that shit. I wanted to buy that Mustang that he never made that looked like so cool. I put a deposit. It took years, and then he started delivering them once the model changed.
Yeah.
Like, my guy can't do it by himself.
It's like it's almost there, but the critical piece is missing.
What would you rather have, a Fisker Ocean or a fucking Cybertruck?
Oh, yeah, it's not even close.
Let's go. Let's go. And talking about Fisker, he used to be a designer for Aston Martin. And Aston Martin just premiered their new Vantage.
Yeah.
Dude. A brand new interior, a whole brand new grille that looks like the 177. It's one of the... I think this is the sexiest Vantage ever made.
It's unbelievable, to the point where I'm not even in the market for that type of car at all. And I'm like, all right, how much is it? What,
I know.
Like it's sick.
It's making me dress up. And by making me dress up is, in Spanish, when you're going to jerk off, you say that you're going to put on a jacket. That's what you say.
What?
Yeah. It's
to protect
it's
yourself
a saying.
or
No.
what?
You just say,
My raincoat?
This is how you say it. Voy a hacerme una chaqueta, ¿no? O me voy a poner una chaqueta. And that means I'm going to put on a jacket, like a fancy coat.
That is unbelievable.
So some people say...
are related.
So some people say, I'm going to get fancy. Because, and this is one of the cars that I want to get fancy on.
I'm going to start saying I'm going
to
get fancy.
Saying? I'm about to get fancy on this.
Yeah, you should probably leave the room. I'm about to get fancy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you have the Vantage. For anyone that's listening and it's the first time you're talking about, like, listening about cars or don't know much about it, the Vantage is the entry-level car for the Aston Martin family.
Yeah.
It's always been a great car, but a big miss. Mm-hmm. Because it's too small, yet it has so many components that a car guy fucking loves.
Yeah.
Right? The V12, the manual, the way that he drives, etc. It really makes up for a good car. But at the same time, it's been a little bit lazy in the way that they put it together.
Sure.
Because it sounds cool, looks good, whatever, but it's like the cheapest car.
Well, look, now it's got the AMG V8 with more power than a Turbo S.
Yeah.
And starting at 190 is what they're approximating. It's more powerful than a Turbo S. It's way sexier than a Turbo S. The interior now is nicer than a Turbo S.
The interior now has the DB12 interior look, and it also those seats.
The
Kinda
seats
like the
are
Valhalla.
sick.
I want to make love to those seats.
Yeah, it seems like it could be the ultimate daily drivable sport supercar.
Yes.
You know? I think I might choose that over a Porsche Turbo.
Me too.
And that's a crazy statement.
Right now, and I would have never said that a long
Yeah.
time ago. And now they're getting to that point where you're looking at these cars and taking them seriously, and Aston Martin's really making the right moves, even though that's hard for me to say because I think Lawrence Stroll is not a very capable man. But this shit's got an 8-speed automatic transmission. They already denied the fact that they're going to make a manual, so you know that they're going to make a manual.
I hope so. If they put a V12 and a manual in that thing, oh my God.
It's a mini 177 on the front. I think it's the sexiest.
No, the front end looks nuts. I mean, it basically looks as cool, if not cooler, than a DB12. It's a lot cheaper than a DB12.
And by the way, the DB12 looks great, dude.
Super good.
When you get like a good, properly spec DB12, you literally stare at the thing and you're like, why are you going to depreciate so much?
They make sexy looking cars. I was looking at the Valhalla on the way here, and it's just unbelievable.
They need to just come out with that.
Yeah, they do.
That is a proper, and I remember when I was, this is something I hate about the car industry, about putting deposits. You never know when the car's going to come.
100%.
I learned that from the 918 because I was not one of the guys that put a deposit for a 918, but I saw so many guys that had a deposit for a 918 for 4 years.
Really? Okay.
That had given up on it to the point where I got 2 allocations for free. Because straight up, I just said, put my name down on it. I'll give you $5,000 for each, just like a regular allocation.
Yeah.
And they gave them to me because people were so tired of waiting for it.
Wow. I
So-
didn't know that. That's
Oh, yeah.
cool to know that a company as successful and big as Porsche was stringing people along for that long.
They were. And I remember Chris Harris had like a tiff with them
Mm-hmm.
because, and this is something I learned from being a movie producer. You never show your work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
You think people are going to have like the brains to understand that you
Sure.
can make it better, but they don't.
Yeah.
So I remember when they showed the car and Chris Harris drove it and he's like, this is utterly garbage before the fine tune came out.
Wow, I don't know
And-
if I've seen that video.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
And then when the 918 came out and he was great, Chris was brilliant because he knew that people were like, you said that he was garbage. And he made a shirt that says, I apologize to whoever was in charge of the
No
918
way.
project. Yeah.
Wow.
Like really cool. And I think with the Valhalla, when they announced it, I went to Ivan at Galpin Aston Martin and I told him, dude, I need one of these, but I don't want to put a deposit.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you the fucking entire. And he goes, dude, it's impossible. Put the deposit. The car's going to be here by November. It's been like 4, 5, 6 years since.
I saw it either 2018, probably 2018 or 2019 Geneva Auto Show. They had the Valhalla there.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 or 6 years.
It's been a while.
Since they said it existed. And it's gone from, I think when they announced it, it was like $500,000.
It was 800.
Really? That was the initial?
Altogether was like 800, 750, 800.
Gotcha. Is
You
it,
could
is
get
it more,
some for,
it's
like,
more
high
than that now?
600s.
Over $1 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the price has gone up like
Even
crazy.
still, it's a pretty crazy car for the money, I feel like. It's near 1,000 horsepower. It's like a much cooler, much more limited SF90.
It's like a Senna.
Yeah.
The way that they compared it was like when the Senna came out, they were like, we're going to make the same thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember that they were like, well, we don't have a seat. You're sitting on the floor, and they would put 2 cushions on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting like in a Formula One car with your feet like up here,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, that's my wet dream of a car right there.
100%. As
Absolutely.
dumb and impractical as that sounds,
Oh, yeah.
that's what a car is about.
I-
Like the event of a lifetime. You're laying down driving the damn thing. Like you might as well, try out for Mercedes F1 team after that.
I want to feel my legs get numb because of
Literally.
all my cholesterol problems and whatnot, as an adult. But I do want it.
Yeah, you just lose all the blood in your leg and you can't floor it anymore.
Not at
You
all.
need
And
hand
it starts
controls.
to hurt. You got to pull over because you have like cramps and all these
Yeah.
things. Yeah, terrible things. But putting deposits was kind of fucking stupid.
I mean, the people who paid $250,000 for like a Founder Series Tesla Roadster.
Oh, dude, and that's
I mean, they're
another
like
one.
6 years in and they can't get their money back.
And by the way, I love Tesla. I'll suck Elon's dick any day of the week. Like, I adore that dude, and I adore what he was coming out with because he was like a Nevera
Yeah.
for 10 times less.
Literally.
But I didn't give him a deposit because I knew my guy takes his time.
Same.
So getting back to Elon and Fisker is like, if you're an innovator, if you're game-changing the world and whatnot, I appreciate you trying and I appreciate you setting up dates and targets. And with any business, you want to set up targets and like start dates and delivery dates that are hard for your team to get
true.
inspired so you can deliver later.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't go well with people, but that's, I feel like, a big part of the magic of Tesla. Because in the end, he still delivered all this shit. He still made this
If it's a
revolution.
good product, it will still do well and be received well.
Yeah.
It's when there's extra complications like with the AMG 1 where it's like, oh, it's show and display. You
Which,
can't
by the
register
way,
it.
I wanted an AMG 1.
Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't buy one is because I had the first order in the United States and they took it away from me because I sold my 918. Do you know that?
How does that have to do with Mercedes?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mercedes corporate literally messaged whoever I was working with.
Because they thought you
I
were
don't
a
wanna get in
flipper
trouble.
because you bought and
And
sold
they're,
it.
whatever they think.
Huh.
I had purchased 70-something AMGs, dude.
Holy crap.
I had spent over $10 million in Mercedes cars.
Uh-huh.
And when I got mine, I had my order. I was the first one. They had to call me to fucking cancel on me and say, I'm sorry, you sold your 918. And I was like, How does that affect anything? And by the way, I don't get into the drama. I don't want to get my salesperson in trouble. Any of that. I was like, all right, fuck you guys. I'm getting out and I'll buy one afterwards for over sticker. But once I see the fucking, by the way, they don't work.
Yeah. Doesn't
Maintenance
sound
is
good
a
either.
nightmare. They can bear, like, if you put it on a track, ask anyone that's put one on the track. You got to have someone there to back you up for it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's a mega problem. You can't just put a Formula One engine on a street car.
It's a gnarly task. To
Yeah.
do, and that's why it took so long
And
to make
once-
it street legal. If there was no EPA regulations and whatnot, it'd
But
be
they
a lot
didn't
easier.
make it street legal.
Yeah.
And that's my fucking problem. That's what I'm saying, son. Like, you promised me that I would have a street legal Formula One car for the street, but now I can't take this shit on the street and impress everyone. Because at the end of the day, it's like a big Aventador, but like a
Yeah.
more connoisseur Aventador
Yeah.
type of thing. No, you can't. And that to me is zero. Fuck you. I don't want to take it. That was like a big deception. And I don't think you ever got to the point where that you promised. And no one's telling Mercedes anything. No one is selling Mercedes. No one is like fudding Mercedes because they failed at delivering this one thing that they said that they were
Well, I
going to do.
think
You
I
understand
think
what
a
mean?
lot of people who are buying it pulled out, and that's the type of people that they don't want to piss off. I think a lot of people were really upset that it couldn't be registered in the United States, and
It's
those are
ridiculous.
clients who are going to pay $3 million plus, and they're like, "No, I'm done."
You know how I found out? I was trying to buy one, and the guy that I was buying it from goes, "You can't register in the U.S. at the end. You can't register here. You can register it in Mexico and bring it." I was like, "Dude, if I register it in Mexico, I need to pay for the whole thing in cash." And he goes,
Really?
"Yeah, but because Mexico doesn't.
No financing?
They don't finance that kind of shit, dude. That's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
in every other country, that's ridiculous outside of Europe and the United States. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing this." And I had to finance it in pesos. It was way more expensive than it was, whatever. So I was like, "No, I'm not doing this." And then getting stuck with
80
something.
million pesos.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the amount. So it was 2.5 million. So it was about back then at 70. I think it was 77, 75 million pesos.
Wow.
Which, by the way, sounds ridiculous.
That's pretty baller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent 75 million on it, pesos.
But no one gives them shit. That's all I'm saying. And with Tesla, we hold Elon to a higher standard for some reason.
And hey, they took 5-6 years after they announced it to have it come out.
Yeah.
So really, what's the difference between that and the Roadster?
That's what I'm getting at.
The Roadster's probably going to be faster.
And by the way, when the Roadster comes out, it's going to kill
Yeah.
everyone. It's going to be cheaper than anything, and it's probably going to be $400,000 because of how long ago he said that it would be $250. But I'm fine with that.
If they can make that car go around the track and set some sort of track record, it's game over.
Let me ask you this.
Because then you can't even shit on Tesla
Let me
anymore.
ask you this: if it performs like the Navara and it's $400,000 compared to $3 million,
Yeah.
would you buy one?
I think up to 500 or 600, I'm getting one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then it drives itself, and then it's got all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Tesla infrastructure bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, he's making a big case for the thing, but people don't want to wait. But that's why I don't put deposits on anything.
Sure.
And now to close this podcast before we jump into yours, I want to talk Formula One. Have you
Okay.
been following anything Formula One?
I've seen that there's some new cars got
Yes.
revealed,
Yes.
and that's about it.
So okay. So number one, I'm gonna give you all the gossip.
Yeah.
Right now, there's like a full soap opera with Red Bull going on. Red Bull is on fire. Have you seen the meme of the dog that's like everything is fine and everything is on fire
Yes,
around
yeah,
them?
yeah.
That's Red Bull right now. And the reason why is Christian Horner, the guy who married the Spice Girl. What's Gary Spice? But I can't remember what she was. What kind of spice she was? And
Like an oregano, or
he's the team principal. I'll tell you right now what spice exactly:
Thank
oregano,
you.
paprika.
a ghost pepper?
Yeah, but what was her spice power? She was not posh. She was not posh because she was Victoria. She was red spice or ginger spice or something. Oh, come on. Look it up though. No rush. No
Not
rush.
an ice spice.
So either way, I'm just making a joke because I'm a ginger spice. I told you.
That's literally was her name.
Yeah, ginger spice. And she's a redhead, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went with it. Hopefully her pubes match the carpet.
Yeah. Does she have a soul?
I don't know. Oh, if the pubes match, no. If the pubes don't match, yes.
I didn't know that rule.
Let's go with
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're learning every
I'm learning.
single day.
I learn
I'm
every
an
day.
older dude.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. You're young. You need to learn these things. So Christian Horner, the principal at Red Bull, like
Yeah.
the CEO of Red Bull Racing, basically, he's going through a scandal. And that scandal, let me just put it on the table like this. Basically, an employee at Red Bull accused Christian Horner of abuse of power. And then there was some other articles that came out saying that it was a woman who complained and that basically Christian forced her to do things that she didn't want to do because of the power structure.
So Horner was too horny.
Yes,
That's crazy.
I also, by the way,
That's crazy.
I love that joke because I already used it, and that validates that it's legit and fair. So Christian Horny, as I call him now,
That's
because
so funny.
by the way, I don't hate Christian Horner. I just don't like him because he's Totos, which is the principal at Mercedes, nemesis.
Okay.
They are nemesis. Toto and Christian fucking hate
Do they
each
have
other.
they have public beef?
They hate each other.
I kind of love that. It's like no matter how it's so immature, but no matter how high
it's
up
so
you get
good.
in the world, there's still these feuds.
It's like high school.
Yeah. It's like middle school drama between billionaires owning these
At all times, by the way. At all times.
literally.
So you have Toto and Christian, and Christian's in this thing where his own team is accusing him of this. So they're doing an internal investigation for the matter. Now there's a few sides of the story and a few different articles that have leaked. One of them says it was clearly something sexual with this girl. The other one says it was nothing sexual. Christian's just like he was yelling and being too mean to this girl.
No way.
Exactly. And the third one is something that is unrelated to that. But there's been more and more articles coming out like, oh, Christian tried to settle with his lawyers for £650,000 with this woman so that she could drop the case. The problem with this is Red Bull's main dude, Dietrich, died last year. And when he died, there's a vacuum of power within the structure. So we knew there was going to be some struggle.
Didn't his son become the CEO?
And
Like that?
no.
Or owner?
No.
Okay,
I at least maybe for the main company, but not in the racing thing.
Okay.
So you have Helmut Marko that's on top of Christian Horner. And Helmut Marko is like this old man who's incredibly racist and says all these crazy shit all the time. And people are fed up with him. And last year, there was a rumor that they were trying to get rid of him because he fucked up so many times. And they did try, but he stayed. And right now, it feels like it's going against Christian. So what they're saying is that Just Verstappen, Max Verstappen's dad, who's their driver, is trying to remove Christian from his position, take it over, and be the new team principal at Red Bull. So we're seeing these news in the middle of the announcement of their brand new car, which is the RB20.
Yeah.
There's still the
Sick.
investigation's still going. We don't know anything, but Christian seems to be like staying. So that could pay off later because Red Bull has been so dominant, and this broken institution might actually fall and crumble later in the season. That's what we're all hoping for because they've been so dominant, right? We won new shit. The RB20 by Andrew Newey, it's not only an evolution to the older car that was the most dominant car in Red Bull in history. This brand new car, dude, has so many new elements. And the new elements that he's introducing, like the air ducts that go like on the side pods of the car, the way that he did him was crazy, innovative, completely different from anything that anyone tried. But then you go into the actual tunnels on top of the car that go from like the halo to the back. And he's kind of copying what Mercedes did with W14 a year ago, or
Interesting.
W13, which is really interesting.
That is very interesting.
Because in the Mercedes, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So now it feels like Red Bull is so far ahead that they're trying brand new concepts that teams tried in the past that didn't work, and he's showing them how to use them.
Yeah.
Like
You are almost there, but but this is how you do it.
This is what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. If these dudes legitimately fucking killed it this year, using these things that
Yeah,
Mercedes
pretty
used in
impressive.
the past, it's going to be a mega fuck you to Mercedes and to everyone else on the grid because
Yeah.
Aston Martin's also used them, Ferrari and whatnot, just to show them what the whole thing is. And by the way, not a lot of people understand this. You can't just have a wing that makes your car better. You can't just have a front wing that makes this. The car as a whole needs to be perfectly synchronized
of
for
course.
the air to travel through all of it for you to get the maximum, the top results that you can possibly get. So now from that, it takes me to Mercedes because Mercedes has sucked for the past 2 years or 3 years. They were embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
And right now, they got James Allison back. James Allison is like their Adrian Newey, if you will.
And back, when was he working at Mercedes?
He just went into another position in Mercedes,
Okay.
and now he's back.
Gotcha.
And he's back in charge. And if you look at W15, which is a brand new
Sick.
Mercedes car, dude, it is the most beautiful livery, number one. Red Bull didn't change the livery. Red Bull has everyone in Formula One complaining about, like, when are you going to change the fucking
Sure.
stickers on your car,
Sure.
dude? It's been 30 years. Please do something. And Mercedes keeps playing with it. Whether they go with the black car, the silver car, black and silver, and the brand new W15, which is the name of the new Mercedes, is gorgeous.
I feel like it has less stickers and less of a livery, which makes it look cooler and like more of a car.
It's less for more.
Yeah.
Like, because less is more
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a certain
yeah.
way. And they copied a little bit of that vision with the AMG GTR Black Series Mercedes Edition.
Yeah.
But they added more green. They added more silver on the front with a mixture of the black in the back. But I think where it really becomes spectacular is when you start looking at the car and all the cuts. And I think the most interesting part of that car is the front wing, which
you like
everyone
that?
is dying to know if it's going to be legal or not. It's got that mouth open. It looks like a little bit of like this.
Yeah.
Like a little underbite, kind of
Yeah.
like a bulldog, but just like as if they were just barely opening their mouth.
100%. Like a little catfish on the bottom.
Exactly, but upside down.
Yeah. It's sucking to the ground. If the catfish can suck food off the sea floor, this is going to suck down
the
for
air
us.
so that you can just basically stay grounded.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the most gorgeous cars I've ever seen.
Very cool.
But this brings me back to when we were at the top, because I'm a Mercedes fan, so I say we as a team. And we were at the top of the food chain, dude. And Mercedes came out from W13, I think it was from W12 to W13. And in the preseason, they had this thing called DAS. Do you remember DAS or not really?
Explain it.
So DAS was Valtteri Bottas is driving in the testing phase in Barcelona. And he's on the radio with Toto Wolff, and Toto Wolff goes, Valtteri, try DAS right now. And Valtteri Bottas just
pulls the steering wheel?
the steering
Yeah,
wheel
yeah,
towards him, and the front tires just move to the side.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was like a baller ass like moment for Mercedes. And they eventually, before the season started, made it illegal. But right now, it feels like that type of innovation is back on the team.
Sure.
Whereas it felt stale for 3 years. So I'm finally hoping that we can make it back. And Lewis Hamilton, before he leaves, he can get that 8th championship.
That would be cool.
Call it a day and tell Ferrari to fuck off. Because I don't want to see Lewis wearing the Ferrari colors. But at the same time, I know it'll be cool.
But so he's for sure racing for Ferrari this season,
2025.
right? Oh, okay. So he's got one more season at Mercedes?
One more year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's kind of like he took a shit on the principal's desk, but he still had the full day at school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what he did,
I was like, I'm
kinda.
leaving, but like, help me win.
But I still
this
have to
next
be
year.
here all year. And everybody's like, all right.
What
guess we
happens
will.
if he wins in this new Mercedes? Is he going to be like, what the hell did I do?
I personally think if he wins in this Mercedes, he's
Stay
just
at
going to
Mercedes?
retire.
Yeah, could be.
Not stay,
Yeah.
retire. Because all he wanted was that 8th championship that they stole in Abu Dhabi in 2020.
What does Schumacher have? 6?
7.
Oh,
They're both
okay.
tied
Oh,
at 7.
okay.
But Lewis is a more winning driver. He's got more Grand Prix wins and more poles than Schumi. So that's where it's at. And I want to see him win his 8th title.
That would be
hopefully
cool.
with Mercedes and not Ferrari. And that'll be the end of that. Is there anything else you want to add to this podcast?
There's so many things.
Well,
I mean, maybe for another time.
Let's
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
for yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, this was Two Dudes, One Car. Thank you so much, Parker. Of
course, thank you.
This was awesome. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Well, probably very soon.